give it some sound, build up a world from the words that we found. Putting pen to page, we just let it flow, then tell them the tales that only we know. The fiction cartel, ask us anything. The fiction cartel, we're here to help you. Come on, join us. You know you want to give in.
Well, I'd like to do these every other week. I know I can't do it every week. Nobody can do that. I'd like to do it every other week. However, welcome. Welcome, everybody. And Fiction Cartel. Wow, 2026. Ah, there's Jessie Bear. Hello, sweetheart.
Jesse.
And I want to start by letting everybody introduce themselves to some of our new faces here in the audience. So let's start with Eric and go from left to right. How's that? Go ahead, Eric. Let them know who you are and what you write. Oh, your audio's off.
It's off now.
Yep, now it's on. Now it's
You
on.
gotta, like, the first 2 seconds whenever you start speaking, we lose.
Oh, okay. That's a bit odd. Sorry. My name is Eric Falden. I write at Falden's Forge, where I write short stories with fantasy short stories with historical grounding. And when I'm not writing fiction, I do explorations of history and fantasy and how those things intersect. But here in 2026, I'll be doing a lot more fiction forward.
Awesome. Awesome. Ian?
All right, I'm Ian Dunmore. My publication on Substack is Dunmore Dispatch. Like Eric, I write short fantasy stories on there. I'll also periodically write world building guides, which are educational, but in all seriousness, they're just vehicles for my irrepressible snark. And fantasy is grounded in realism, grounded in history, that kind of thing. So check it out.
And you also have an announcement. You need to make that. You have something.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have a book. Right.
Yeah, we can
I
see
have
them.
no
behind you.
copies of it up here. I can't
Oh,
show
no.
you. Yeah, maybe I'll go get one.
Do that as we move on, and then because
I'm gonna be like the kid running away to get my Christmas present. To
there,
show everybody.
there you
I'll be
go.
right back. I'll be
Okay,
right back.
Anne.
Hi, I'm Ann Kimbrough. I'm Tell Me a Mystery on Substack, and I write mystery. Duh. Right now, I'm serializing Darkly, which is the FBI collides with dark magic. So I have a bunch of different mysteries, and I also write Conversations with Coffee, which is me just talking to my coffee.
I love that.
Randomly pops up in notes.
Scoot.
All right, yeah, I am Scoot. I write at Gibberish. I'm not writing anything right now because I'm on my winter break, but coming beginning of February, I'm going to be writing Sandbox Earth season. So I've got a handful of science fiction stories coming, and later in the year we'll get fantasy. I like to kind of have some kind of loosey-goosey, adventuresome, maybe experimental stories. So subscribe if that kind of thing sounds appealing to you, and wait until February for them.
And Delena?
I'm Delena Marr, or Lisa, depending upon what you want to call me. And I write fantasy, I write modern adventure. Right now I'm writing nonfiction, currently doing The Work of Joy. And then I'm going to get back to writing my science fiction. So there you go.
Yay. Ian, back to you. Show us. Ta-da.
There it is. So, quick elevator pitch. This is 23 short stories in here, The Wolfman's Trail and other stories. It is about the length of The Hobbit in terms of word count. So, it's nice. Gotten a number of orders. It's turning out to be a nice gift for family members, and also I've had a number of people who they want to read through all my short stories, but they don't like staring at a screen for that long. So that's available too. Yeah, so you can find your way on there on my Substack.
Awesome. And we will get that book put up and put right underneath your chair for next time. Ta-da.
So Ian, it also has exclusive short stories that you can only find in the book, not on Substack.
You got to include, thank you, Eric, for letting us know about Ian's book.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome.
Eric is constantly reminding me of, like, he's like, no, you have to put this up or something. I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, forgot. Thank you, Eric.
Awesome.
Right.
And I am Jamie Buckley. I write on Life of Fiction. My main series is Chronicles of a Hero. I do everything from world building to nonfiction to parenting to you name it. And I also write over at jamiebuckley.com, which is a community of writers that I was finally convinced to start sharing my path that I've been doing since 1986. So there's that. And this is my pet project that I love because I like getting together with my friends and talking about important things that people should be talking about, but they usually don't. So for everyone to know, this is being recorded. I've been recording for 25 minutes now. And that we always have a measure of technical difficulty. So just roll with it. Don't worry about it. Just roll with it. So first question for everybody. How was last year? And being a writer, how was last year? Jump in. Anyone who wants to jump in. I just want to know how 2025 was for you guys.
So I'll say that it was good on a personal level. I think there were I had a lot of positive developments as far as my writing goes. Like it was like I was looking back on it and I realized I didn't actually publish that much. I got a couple short stories at the beginning of the year, and then I got my Black Page serial in the kind of, I don't know, late summer, fall. And then that was kind of it. That was kind of it for what I was writing. But like my process kind of improved over the course of that. My thinking about my writing improved over the course of that. So personal wins, and then I'm kind of pushing some of that forward into 2026 and trying to like build my writing process around that. So yeah, I'd say it was a scaffolding year. Well, not a lot of kind of trophies to show anybody, but
you seem to keep everyone motivated though, because last year was the first time that I tried your Flash Fiction Friday, and that's true. I brought a few people to that, and they tried it once, and they just love it. So you kept a lot of other people motivated.
That's what I like to do. It's do as I say, not as I do.
Who else? Share your experiences for 2025. Let everyone know.
By the way, Betty is asking in the chat if we mean in terms of inspiration or profit or what.
Whatever you want to share.
I would say inspiration for me was good last year. Last year was a recovery year from having my income turned on its head, but it's been good. It's been good for me.
Well, I have yet to have that overnight success moment after years and years and years. So profit-wise, it's still muddling through. But production-wise, I completed 3 serials that became 2 of them are books. They're below me here, and one of them is still going on. So and like the new ones are coming. So I'm writing. I'm producing a lot more. I feel like I'm using my time better as a writer with results. So that's good. Maybe that'll equal profit at some point, but that's not the first goal. Or I'd shoot myself, but not that I recommend violence, but
All right, guys. What happened, Ian? What happened, Eric? By the way, everyone, these two know each other really, really well. I actually invited both of them separately, impressed with both of them. Then they get on here for the first Fiction Cartel, and not only are they friends, they're like buds. And I'm like, what? Okay, that was cool.
Yeah, we buried the lead on that one.
That's cool.
we
Have you
knew
guys
you
written
wouldn't
anything
invite us
together?
together, so we had to, like,
Oh, whatever.
Have you written anything together?
No fiction.
Okay.
We
Mhm.
nonfiction.
You
We
have
did.
you have written nonfiction together?
We have not written fiction together. Sorry if my audio is cutting out. I hope I'm coming through here. We have written some nonfiction together. We did a series on magic systems and how they work and why they work and why they don't work sometimes. And then we did one all about like kind of our partnership, but partnership in general and how to like avoid trashy feedback, I think was the title, right, Ian? Like avoiding trashy feedback.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. We started out with a title that was like, how to give and receive feedback. And then we were like, nah, it needs
nah.
needs more battery acid. So we changed it to like, how to avoid trashy feedback or something. And then, yeah, people
Well,
liked
there
that.
were other posts going around at that time about trash in particular that we were kind of responding to in subtext a little bit. But that's all we'll say about that. But yeah, so I'll say Ian and I collaborate on a lot of things. He is my editor and he walks me back from the cliff quite often. But yeah, I'm hesitant to tinker with his world because it's so his. But I don't know. Never say never, right?
I would be
Yeah,
interested in. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, we get early access to each other's stuff frequently, so we'll often like give it a little read through and hey, tweak this, maybe work on that, or if we're ideating, we'll talk a lot about that kind of thing of like, I have this character that has this problem, how should he get out of it? That's a really common thing. Yeah, so as far as the year, um, well, so in terms of profit, this is one of the highest profit years I've ever had, mostly to do with the fact that this is my first book published ever. So, anything is higher than zero. But in addition to that, I've, man, there were a lot of changes. Eric lured me onto Substack in late 2024. So 2025 was like the first time of me really buckling down and getting into this routine of writing short stories for almost every other week of the year. And I think I had 18, 19 of them by the end. Yeah, and that helped me. It really honed my craft. Like I can go back and I look at, in particular, the novel that I've been working on, and I cracked that open a while ago, and I was like, oh, like I've definitely improved. Like I can immediately see things that I would change in there. And some of that is just the evolution of writers that you're always going to look back at your stuff and want to tinker. But there were ways in which I think I got objectively better as a writer in the last year. There's also kind of the meta game of writing that happened for me because I started a new job, had a number of life changes and such, and kind of navigating that along with the writing is often a game all its own that kind of sits on top of writing. And so learning how to deal with that, I'm still in kind of this transition period right now, as far as employment and larger things going on in life that I'm kind of having to find a way to navigate with writing. How do you do that with burnout? How do you do that when the muse is just completely absent from the room? Where does that leave you? So that's kind of what my 2025 was looked like. So overall, it was very constructive.
How are you guys done on relationships? I know for me, probably the best thing that I can take away from 2025, I had quite a few things, but I really enjoy the conversations I've had with all of you. I've learned that each of you has a very key role in how it helps me think, actually. So I try, for some reason, I'm still trying to get used to, I talk least to Eric. He's busy. I met Eric or connected with Eric. Wasn't it over someone who was being not a kind person? That's how we actually met. Do you remember that? And and I was impressed with you because I wanted to go throttle somebody. I wanted to get on a plane and fly wherever he was and go knock on his door. And you were like so classy. It's like, well, I would just do. I was like, wow. I've never met someone that reminds me of Canada. No, that's wow. Okay, I need to step back. All right, I got to cool my jets. Okay, but
Well, not that I'm a Canadian, but it's an apt comparison because even when I'm calm, cool, and collected, and maybe a little polite, the axe is just off screen. I'm ready to take down at any time.
and it was your class that got me to start reading your stuff. And Ian, was it on your Substack where the magic was? Because I really got hooked on one of you did the magic system, and I was like, that is good, really good. Was that on yours? Is that how
Yeah,
I
so
met?
that was one that we collaborated on, but we hosted it on Eric's because Eric had a larger following, still does, and so we thought that would be better for distribution.
Huh.
So that might have been one of the ways that you got also acquainted with Eric. I remember we met because it was around the time that the Substack had made another change, some such like they changed a banner color or something. Of course,
Uh-huh.
everyone lost their minds and said, clearly they're out to, get the humble, fiction writer. And so I wrote a piece on that, and it kind of
Mm,
evolved into a discussion about creativity overall. And I think that was how we connected
it was.
first.
Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, in the comment section, because I was like, okay, that is a good. That was a very thorough look at, well, actually just having respect for everyone and Substack, because they're still trying to do the best they can. You got to wait for things to clear. It's kind of like when I was done reading it, it was kind of like, well, I never go and, I'm a Mac person. I never go and get the new operating system ever. I let it go for a year, let everyone else go through and fix this and fix that. And when I know that everyone's about ready to move on to the next one, now I'll go up a notch. It's like, let's just settle. I don't know actually all the facts, so I'm not going to make a judgment. Then I've learned last year that Anne is definitely an instigator. Yeah, that's her title. It's self-proclaimed. You can't do that. You said you were the instigator, and we've said that on the podcast.
I'll own it.
And the thing is, but you're a muse. You are definitely a muse.
That's a better way to put it. I like that.
Well, it depends upon the subject, but yeah, I'll take both sides of that coin.
Hey guys, what's the difference between an instigator and a muse? I'm just really liking this right now.
I don't know.
I've only instigated good things.
I know.
An instigator,
Fiction cartel.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay.
I'm the one that says that's a good idea. Do it, Jamie. And you're probably one of the few people I've ever met that said, "Okay,
Okay. Yeah. Why not? I'll try
I
it.
love that about you."
And it works. Except for that's how and it's through her creating the 2x2. That's how me and Scoot met. Because I watched your thing with Scoot and I was like, dude, he's cool. I want to talk to that guy. And I was like, we're going to be friends. He just doesn't know it yet.
This is the only time in my life anyone has been like, wow, he's so cool. So I appreciate
No, I
that.
honestly, you were one of the first people I noticed on Substack. I thought you were Mr. Substack because you were in my feed all the time.
Yeah.
You were really
That's just because I
cool.
have no
Everyone
life.
liked
Absolutely.
you.
100%.
Seriously.
Well, you got interviewed because you have like what, 5? You had like 5 Substacks or something, didn't you, Scoot? I mean,
Yes, I don't know how to say no to myself. That's the problem.
Nothing wrong with that.
and then all the wonderful conversations that I have and I've had for years with Lisa. So yeah, you chuckle, but she's one of my favorite human beings. So I appreciate you, Lisa. And she's one of the smartest people I know. And
That I know. That's a fact.
yeah, and she's gonna start going, and
I'm
look
gonna start
some.
hiccuping.
She said she had the worst case of hiccups before we started. I was like, this is gonna be fun. Anyway.
Definitely scare you.
But the thing is that every time you talk to Lisa and you start discussing the patterns or the trends on the internet, I try so hard to bring something new to her, and I'm like, I found this and this and this. She's just like, yeah, I was studying that like 2 years ago. And she goes through this whole thing. I was like, okay, all right.
Here, Jamie, I wrote a book about it.
Yes, kinda. Yes, it is. She has. It's like, okay. It's very nice, Jamie. You're doing well. You're doing well. Keep going. Okay, I will. But all of you have inspired me this last year, and I thank you. And I thank you because I did deliberately choose U5 and Coomer to be part of this, the Fiction Cartel, because I had this feeling that 2026 was going to be the absolute best year for writers ever. I have zero proof of this. I don't necessarily see trends in this. I'm just one of these street guys that I trust my heart when it really talks. And I'm just excited about this year. And I knew to go forward, I wanted to be with my friends and do this with my friends, and we would be able to empower each other by doing this. And so thank you for joining Fiction Cartel. Ta-da. There, that's a really long intro, but I like you guys. Just saying, I like you guys. So I got all
You're
these.
all right too, Jamie. I don't care what Ann says.
Sorry, that reminds me of my dad. When we were little, I'm the oldest of 10, and my dad and mom, I love them. They would take us everywhere, and we were well-behaved kids. Mom and dad taught us well. And I remember whenever we'd go out in public and there'd be little old people that come up and say, "Oh, your children are so sweet. They're so well-behaved." My dad says, "Yes, I love taking them everywhere." And then he'll pause, then he'll look at the people cross-eyed and go, "And for some reason, they always find their way home." Always throws people off. Okay, let's see. What's working for you guys? I want to hear that. Let's give some value to our listeners. What's working for you guys, even if it's boring? So what is working? What worked for you in 2025? And maybe what are you going to use in 2026 as a writer?
Well, mine kind of feeds into what I already said. Serializing is really working for me. I just dawned on me, I did serialize 4 things. 2 of them became books. 2 could become books, but I haven't. I'm moved on. So I'm going to keep serializing because it does produce books for me more than ever before.
Do you find yourself more motivated to write because it's serial?
Well, yeah. Well, before I used to write in indie published stuff, but you have no connection to the audience. So
Yeah.
now I might only have 11 people, but they're great and they talk to me and I get feedback, and if I don't post something, they know it and they let me know it. And even if that's one person, it's motivating. It really is great.
I love that. Is everyone here serializing? You, Eric and Ian, you guys are doing short stories, but are you serializing?
Last year.
That's okay.
I'm not serializing right now. I haven't. Mostly, I haven't thought of something that I wanted to serialize yet. I have one story that's kind of there, but I would want it to be pretty concrete for me. The first thing that popped into my head when you had said what's working for you is actually like outlining, which is something that I had not done to the same extent as I do now for a long time. But it's working because it helps me stay contained within the word count limits, because I kind of impose those, and if I don't follow them, then my stuff tends to turn out 1,000 words longer than I want it to be. So using that, I can foresee myself doing a doing a serial. I've wanted to for a while, but I just don't have a topic quite yet. So yeah, I know for Eric, I'm sure he can talk more about it, but he has a serial called The Samizdat, which is pretty cool. It's oh, let me see if I can. He's still not appearing on video, so I'm going to try and pitch it. It's about a warrior who is in this sort of plains society, and he commits essentially a sin in front of his tribe, or a taboo, and he's ostracized. And so a lot of the series is following him through exile and kind of the experiences that he has of like identity and community and that kind of thing. It's really good. And I've been bugging him to try and put it between the folds of a book and turn it into something for a while. So maybe you guys can join me in bullying him into doing that, because I think it would go great.
You should.
If there's one thing we support here, it's bullying.
Yeah.
Great.
For books.
Great.
Just for books. We've been already bullied Scoot for that.
That's true. That's
Make
true.
a book. Yeah.
Scoot, you serialize. Yes.
Yeah. I start every morning with Lucky Charms, and no, yes, I do serialize. I've got the Black Page is the last one that I did, and so I did kind of technically 2 serials last year, because I did right at the beginning of the year. It was a limited serial. It was only 3 parts, but it was about the same length as a kind of fuller serial called The Trials of the Harkin, which is a science fiction story set in the Sandbox Earth universe. So I like experimenting with like different kinds, because I think every serial I've done has been slightly different in kind of form and how it's delivered. So I have a serial planned. I have the idea for a serial for the Sandbox Earth season coming up starting in February. I do not have a lot written and planned formally for it, so I've got a lot of work to do on that. But I love serializing. I think it's a great way to hone your craft, to kind of get out of your head and just put words on the page. Through Black Page, I bought this sign. Let me see if I can pull this down here. I got this Bless This Mess for publishing the serial, because it was a disaster as it was going out. So I had to be like, you know what, good Lord, just let this thing go and get it out there.
Lisa, can I convince you to talk about your spaceport? I really want you
Sure.
to talk about it and explain the wonderful things that you are going to give us when you get back to that, right?
Yes, I will do more of that. The only spaceport anybody has seen in years has been for Scoot's little
Flash Fiction Friday.
flash fictions.
See?
Yeah.
Ah,
But I've been working on it for a while, and I need to get it out of the drawer and get it done. I know. Serializing has been really wonderful for me this last year. I've really enjoyed it. So, but I've been doing nonfiction. So, but I'm buying myself time to do fiction. And yes, I will do spaceport. So,
awesome. Does anyone
The
pay
bullies are
attention?
coming for you next.
What's that?
I said the bullies are coming for you next.
yeah, I
Oh.
know. I got to get going. Jamie got a taste of spaceport, and now I really have to get it done.
Yeah. And
We
I'm
didn't
not
call this a cartel for nothing.
well, and I'm not a huge sci-fi fan. I've got some sci-fi favorites, but that's not my genre. And I read her stuff just when she told me just the idea for the spaceport. I was like, that's like one of the coolest ideas to me ever. And then I started reading the stories that she put up for your Flash Fiction Friday, and I was like, this is as good as I thought of. I want more. So faster.
You know, that is so hilarious, though,
Why?
Jamie, because, you know, many years ago when I was starting writing and starting, I actually had started with Spaceport, and I cannot tell you how many professors and teachers and writing coaches have told me to never touch that thing, that is a bad idea.
Yeah, but you
Don't
can't
do
fix
that.
stupid. Don't worry about it. You can't
Tell you
fix
what,
stupid.
Can't
So,
listen to one voice.
whenever I was left unattended, I would write Spaceport stories and stick them in a drawer. So I have a few to pull out.
Awesome. It's good. And we'll put how many I only remember 2. How many did you do for Scoot's Flash Fiction Friday?
I don't know, 2 or 3. I didn't do that many.
Okay. So I'm going to take them and I'm going to put them in the show notes. I
You put 'em
want to
in the
get
show notes.
I want to get more people hooked onto you and yeah, we need to bully you. We need more. Okay.
Short plug for Flash Fiction Friday. It's going to start again February or whatever, the first Friday of February. So
Cool.
I'm looking
stay tuned
forward
for
to
that.
it.
Yeah, that's fun. By the way,
Really quick, there's an off-season challenge happening right now where if you write stories during the off season and you put it in the off season chat, that's going into a raffle for a paid subscription comp for 6 months.
Ooh,
So every story you post for Flash Fiction Friday during the off season, that's a raffle ticket. You can get a paid comp. So
sweet. Okay. Well, that's awesome.
Very
By the
cool,
way,
man.
you on your rules for Flash Fiction Friday, I had people private messaging me and saying, "Wait, do I have to use all the prompts there together?" It's like, no, it does say on there, doesn't it, that you can use one or
yeah,
all or none, right? Doesn't it say
yeah,
that?
it does. It's all or none or whatever. It's any combination. The goal is to get people writing. Write
Yeah.
anything. If it inspires you and you take it a completely different direction, write it. I got to make that a little more clear. I got to find a way because I have heard that a couple times. So
Yeah, I was confused because it sounded plain to me. I was like, oh, I could do whatever. I try to get all of them in, but that's not always easy. But yeah,
it's sometimes the guardrails help because it's like it removes the discretionary thinking. So like
uh-huh.
it kind of is the nudge. So like I get it, but also like I try not to be constraining because like some prompts are constraining in that it's like write a story about a dude stealing a crystal skull from a cave, and it's like okay, well that's a very specific kind of story already.
Yeah.
So like I try to keep it general and not constrain people, but maybe there's got to be a way to do it. I'm thinking about different ways to improve Flash Fiction Friday. So this is good feedback regardless.
Cool. Okay, I got a question I want to ask all five of you. How are you guys doing on using notes? That's probably the most frustrating part of Substack last year. It's good. I've had good experiences, but I noticed that the more I used it, the more information I didn't want was in my feed. And so I've like almost completely withdrawn. And I'm wondering if anyone has good experiences with notes or.
Can I swoop in?
Yes, please.
So I am a prolific note poster and I'm self-aware about it. I know I use it in ridiculous and unhelpful ways. But I love it. I think it's amazing. And I am a big believer in it as a growth tool. I think there is a lot of potential, but I think similar to it's like we're talking about with the rules. I think it's a blank canvas, and so it can be really hard to understand how to turn that into a beautiful painting when you like first sign on to Substack. It's probably harder now when like to sign on as a new user in Substack and try to make sense of notes just because it's grown so much. But like so as far as getting rid of the stuff you don't want, mute and block, just you got to do it with ruthless, reckless abandon. I am absolutely like zero strikes on if I see something I don't like, muted or blocked, you're gone. And so that's getting rid of the bad stuff. And then as far as how you actually use it, I'm just like what I tell everybody is like just have fun. Like it's like save the news for your newsletter. Go be yourself. Like just how if someone ran into you in a coffee shop, how would you talk to them? Like, hey, how's it going, Jamie? Hey, how's it going, Eric? Hey, how's it going, Ian? Like, how's the weather? What's going on? What's new in life? Bring your natural, just like relaxed charisma to notes, and people will respond to that. People like real human beings. And so that's my spiel on that. I think like I have used it somehow or other. I have fallen into this rut of just like being ridiculous, and it's helped me because I'm not constrained by, whatever. Like if I joined Substack today, I would probably have a lot more difficulty with notes. But because I was there day one, I've kind of like just like notes formed around me, so I didn't have to figure out all of this stuff.
I'm addicted to responding to notes. Like all of you guys, I like responding. You say something to any of you and it's like, oh, someone gives a story and I'm like, I can relate to that. So I write another story, but that's the comment, not the actual note. I'm like, I don't know what to post.
That's a big part of it too, is just, yeah, sorry, Eric, you're saying something.
No, I'm sorry. I'm still testing with my audio. I'm sorry about that. I caught everything I missed. I was just absent. I'm really going to second everything Scoot is saying about notes anyway, right? I think it's basically show up, try to have fun, try to be yourself, mute all the crap you don't want to see.
I got to do that. I don't ever do that. I need to start doing. That's probably my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't always block people unless I think they're being like really morally objectionable or they're trolling people or whatever. But just mute, and like snooze this. See less notes like this. I think is even like an option when you block or like hide a note. It'll say like, you want to snooze this person for 30 days? You want to mute them? Do you want to just see less like this? And you can train the algorithm in a pretty effective way.
I didn't even know I had
Because
that option.
it-
I just knew
it
of
treats
block.
It treats any engagement, even negative engagement, as you want to see more of this. So
Yeah.
Oh,
so you really
Which
have
isn't
to
different from any other social media algorithm
okay.
for what it's worth. So
Okay.
So
Yeah.
in the chat, you always want me to watch the chat.
Yes,
DW
please.
says notes is how you introduce the person behind the keyboard.
Yeah.
Oh.
well said.
yeah.
Oh. That could be
if-
dangerous.
I-
Well, but then there's Scoot. So, okay, never mind. I don't know what to say.
I represent the low bar here. So anything better than what I'm doing, you're gonna be fine.
I almost spit Pepsi on my keyboard. Ugh. Okay.
That one note that you made a while back, it was hilarious because people make ones like introduce your Substack with a picture of blank, and yours was like introduce your Substack with a picture of a crater on the planet Ganymede. And that's not even the best part. What's even crazier is that it caught on and went kind of like people started restacking it and restacking other photos of that same crater like 10 times. Like a bunch, I saw it all over the place.
Did you really? I just saw this. I saw the soup. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
Well, it was pretty
I
good.
could do that. I was having soup for lunch and I read that. I was like, I could do this. So I was like, okay.
That's I really like I saw early on in notes, I saw a couple people like there were like it's there's the ones, and I've participated in all of these because I think they're kind of fun, where it's like what music characterizes your writing. But like I think the very first experiment with this I tried was like introduce your Substack with a picture of a rundown old gas station, and nobody really liked that one. But like I just like I don't know, it's silly, and something about it tickles me, so I just like doing it, and then people react however they react. But I really like when it gets far. The soup one had, I think, Jokin' with Token they did a soup one that somehow made it to them. So I was like, man, got him. That's trend sniping.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm going to take that away. Thank you, DW, for introducing the person behind the keyboard. Oh, now my brain's stuck on that. It just sounds so dangerous. So very, very, very dangerous. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts on notes?
I think if anybody hasn't read Anne's Conversations with Coffee,
Oh gosh, it's so good.
just go. Just do it.
That was like the first thing that I did on Substack because I'm like, well, I can talk to my coffee. I knew you had to interact somehow on notes, and I don't believe in interacting if you're not giving something with it because I can't just talk about me. So it is all about me because I'm always like, what am I thinking today? Or what have I read in notes? And then I can comment on it sort of around the back door and make fun of it. But I'm usually making fun of me, what I'm doing wrong. Like today, I really made fun of me because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but on YouTube, I get all these videos about how you can take your paperback book, rip off the covers, and make your own hardcover for it. And it looks
What?
amazing. The people that can do it. I'm sure it would turn out like a hot mess. So that was what I talked about today. Coffee thought it was a bad idea, by the way, and it is.
Really? People are doing that? Huh.
Well, some people that have the skill, I mean, you have to have all this machinery and it's hard. They put on foil lettering and it looks great, but it's not sustainable. It's a craft. So don't do it. I'm saying don't do it. But yeah.
So what are you
That's
guys
how I got into notes.
what are you guys planning on doing for 2026? Do you have any particular things that you are going to experiment to grow your audience, grow your communities? I know Scoot has already said he likes using notes for discovery. I know that one of my plans happens to be doing a lot more fiction cartel. And hopefully I can convince some of you guys to do some classes for writers over at jamiebuckley.com. So, because I've got all of you up there and registered, and we can make rooms like this for each of you if you want to do some whether you want to do a class, if you want to do a webinar, you want to do a whatever. But I'd like this to be the year of really helping writers. I think we've been at a disadvantage for too long, and there's too many good tools out there. There's no excuse for people other than they just don't want to do it. There's no excuse to not write and be seen and be successful. So I did learn something in this last year, and I've been doing it since 1986, but I actually realized I've been doing it like 3 weeks ago. And that is, I've always had a measure of success with all the projects that I've done. And I think other than Lisa, I do all this full time. This is my job. This has been my job forever. However, I tell people I don't ever go over finances because that's nobody's business. I don't think that's a good thing to do. Because it gets people focused on the wrong things. I tell people I make enough for my needs. I have a very large family. Our bills are paid. That's all people need to know. However, I am honest and say I don't have any, thunder successes. Everything's always a trickle, and it only hit me just a couple weeks ago, and I realized, wait, I've had the answer all along. Is a trickle is just a trickle, but you get a few trickles together and you get a stream. You get a few streams together, you got a river. Oh, that's how this is working. So I realized, so if I actually have financial goals, I'm going to start just making more trickles, finding the things that people like, finding the things that people need, the things that bring me joy and happiness, and just do those projects more consistently and realize, yeah, it's just going to be a trickle. That's okay. But when you have 40, 50, 70, 100 trickles, it's not bad. So
It's a good plan. And
yes,
suddenly you'll be an overnight success, and people will go, "How did you do it overnight?" And you go like, "Well,"
which is my favorite
Few
quote of
years
all
ago.
time is Charles Schultz. It only took me 29 years to be an overnight success. I love that. I love that quote. I love peanuts. Speaking of which, since Scoot brought up having fun with notes, I realized I might want to do a comic strip for notes. I was thinking of a comic strip called Right and Wrong. Right, RITE, and Wrong. Two guys, because here's the thing that I argue with people about. And they say, well, like my daughter walked in the other day and she says, I practice makes perfect. And I said, that's not true. That's not a truth. That's a false statement. Perfect practice makes perfect. Because you keep practicing doing something wrong, you're gonna get really, really bad at something, really good at doing something bad. The one thing that I stress with people, I say, do you have 30 years of experience, or do you have 1 year of experience 30 times because you don't listen? You don't learn, you don't adapt, you don't grow. So I was thinking about doing a comic strip called Right or Wrong with two friends. Both of them are writers. One is a successful writer who has 30 years of experience, and his best friend who keeps trying to figure shortcuts to get there, who has 1 year of experience 30 times. And it's just that going back and forth. So maybe I'll do that on notes. I don't
You
know.
should.
I don't know. We'll
Yeah, I
see.
think that would do really well.
Yeah, it's also just from like a practical growth kind of perspective, like Notes responds to visuals,
Does it?
and Jamie, that's a strength of yours. So use it, leverage it.
I had never thought about that. I have so much artwork I could put out there. I didn't even think of that. Well, that's
Okay,
silly.
now we'll bully you. Do it.
You don't need to bully me. Eric just took over your job. He just instigated.
Eric's an instigator.
I will do that.
Title. We're sharing it.
I will do that.
Like instigator over muse, if you don't mind.
Well,
Yeah.
what I was going to say earlier when you asked what the distinction is between instigator and muse, I was going to say, well, an instigator has an axe right off screen.
Awesome. Oh my
Well, to
goodness.
answer your question, I would say I'm gonna go into audiobooks more. Audio is a big thing I like, and I want. I have read too. If anybody has an ebook on Amazon, you should go into ACX and claim your title. so no one else can. You don't have to do anything with it, but you go in, create an ACX account as either the author or the publisher, and you claim your title.
Oh,
So you should do that, because then it's yours and you can do whatever you want whenever you want. But
huh.
I am going to do some actual audiobooks through ACX, which is Audible. And then I'm going to do my own versions as podcasts, sort of serializing everything I'm writing. I'll serialize it as more theater for your ears, but on a podcast on Substack.
That's a cool idea. Huh.
I think that market, audiobooks, is really growing. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, but that's the element I'll add this year.
Fun. Anybody else?
See, I feel really behind on this. I just want to write this year.
What's wrong with
I
that?
just want to write fiction this year. I want to be able to do that.
Huh. Okay.
We're missing
Wait,
Eric.
Eric's talking.
Yeah,
Did I lose again?
He's
come
right.
back.
It
What?
starts after you say a few words, so have a few introductory.
Yeah, my computer keeps trying to connect to a microphone that doesn't exist, and I'm sorry. But yeah, my big thing is I just want to write way more fiction this year. You know, I kind of announced that earlier this month. I just want to, like, that's my goal, is to be more prolific, to write more stories, but also get them into books and publish the serials that I've got, and do at least one more serial this year is kind of the goal I've got for this year. And like, I look at how much Ian has produced in the last year. I look at how a lot of other writers have produced a lot of fiction over the last year. And while I'm proud of what I've done in 2025, like, the biggest thing for me is I want to work way the hell faster when it comes to writing fiction. So that's my goal.
You know what we have to talk about? Lisa will know what we have to bring up, because we've been talking about it. I started a podcast because of it. Actually, the Nothing About This Is Safe was created because I took the top 100 problems that writers were having over the last 2 years and realized nobody was really talking about them the way that they should. They weren't answering the question. And they needed to be discussed. And one of the subjects that came up, because it's in the news everywhere, happens to be AI. I have not had a problem talking about AI. I haven't had anyone yell or scream or push back or anything, because I have had the position of, look, I'm right in the middle. I see people, arguing for it. I see people arguing against it, and I'm not part of either of those arguments. I was right in the middle, absolutely scared stiff, because I didn't understand and I didn't know who to ask, because I get these two extreme answers. And so I started that podcast just so that I could start asking questions and hopefully do a good enough podcast that I could also ask people that don't know who I am. And I'd say, hey, would you consider being on this podcast? Would you listen to the first few? If you think that it's worth your time, then would you come on? So far, I haven't had anyone say no, which is a good thing. The nice thing was meeting Alicia McCullough. And I adore that lady. She is one of the neatest ladies ever. But wow, someone that really understands patterns and things with AI, and realizing that every single writer, doesn't matter whether you're for or against AI. It's irrelevant, because it's here. It doesn't matter how you feel. It's still here. And I decided not to scare everyone and bring a list of all the things that even people that are flat out against AI and want to do everything just human. I was going to bring a list of all the things that they're doing with AI. They just didn't know it, and it would probably piss everybody off. So I decided not to bring that list. I might bring it next time. However, it's very important that all of us understand that the way that you get found now, I don't know, was anyone doing blogging and things like I was back in, say, 2005, when Google actually said, hey, if you write these articles and obey these rules and just, you use SEO, then you can rank high. And that worked great for years. And that's how I got my business
middle school
going.
had some internet control, so I wasn't able to do that.
and then I don't even remember what year. Lisa, maybe you know what year, where all of a sudden I found all these people ahead of me, and it said sponsored. And I'm like, wait, so I can work as hard as hard as I want, give all the top quality things, do exactly what they ask. But if you have a bigger wallet, you can always be ahead of me. And okay, different rules. Well, the neat thing is that now with AI, at least at this particular point, it is leveled the playing field again. So it doesn't care about Google or any of these other people. It filters out the white hat, the black hat. It filters out all the hats. It is creating a equal playing field, and it just wants to answer the questions of those who are searching. So, have each of you thought about how you are going to get indexed with the AI so that your work can be found? I've done it, and I'm still doing it, and it's been amazing. Have you tried? I know we used to say, have you Googled yourself? Have you actually gone and used I know. Keep it at PG. No. Have you used an AI engine and actually looked up yourself, looked up your books, and seen if the information is coming up and it's accurate?
I have, and I've done this for a while now because I was doing this back before AI took over search. And so when it first came out, I was like, okay, what does the AI know about me? And it was completely wrong. It had me as a New York Times bestselling author
Hey,
and listed out a
congratulations.
whole bunch of books that I've never heard of. And I was very impressed. And then I said to it, I don't think that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't actually know who you are. Um, thank you for crushing me. But as yeah, I've continued to do it as the AI search has developed, and I was very pleased the last few times it has actually known me and done correctly. And I've done it for a lot of clients too, and it's getting pretty good now about knowing who we are and that kind of thing. So it's better.
Have you all listened to those the two podcasts, the two
Yes.
specials with Alicia?
Yes, I am worshiping at her feet. That
Alicia is awesome.
GEO, I'm there. I'm
The
doing it.
GEO and the AEO,
So
yeah.
I would challenge you all to go on to your Substack, and on your dashboard, there's an area that says growth. So if you click on growth, it lists the unique visitors that come to your site and where they've come from. Most of them are going to probably come from your own newsletters. But I notice on mine now, there's Perplexity and DuckDuckGo, which are both AI search engines. So, and I took a screenshot because I want to see that number grow because I'm getting out there in blogs and just in other ways that the search engines are supposed to find me. So I'll be able to see if it's working in an organic way if I'm where I'm leading them back to.
See, I'm finally getting people from Pinterest. What she told me
Oh,
to
so
do, because she says, since I'm a visual guy, I've been on Pinterest forever. I've never used it for my own stuff. I
well, you should
haven't.
see. Yeah, I got mine from YouTube. So, and YouTube's an area I want to grow in with the AI because now I can be my own little Hollywood,
Yeah.
what I couldn't do before.
Anne, have you set an alert for yourself on Google every time it finds you? It tells you.
No, I should. I don't like alerts because you could get them all the time. I feel like I'm already attached to my phone too much. So,
What I've been delighted with is how quickly it catches my Substack posts. Really fast.
I was getting alerts from Google today for all of your guys' comments, actually, on an article, which I thought that was hilarious because I've never had that before. So, yeah, it's catching that now too. But there are anyone and all of you who are here and all of you who will be listening to this on the replay, go over to jamiebuckley.com or just go to Spotify and look up Nothing About This Is Safe and look for the two specials that are with Alicia McCullough about AI, because she goes through a very specific step-by-step what you need to do in what order. And I've done that. And if you haven't done it on your Substack, I found a way to do it without having to muddy the waters, because, life of fiction, that's just my fiction. That's just my fantasy stuff. So I didn't want to have pages going through, who I am and what I do. And like she had said, but I realized, oh, wait, you can actually go into your settings and go down and do your custom pages, because you can put all the custom pages that are fully indexed by the engines and the AI, but you can click on it and say to not show it on your homepage or to show it on your menu. So it's hidden, so normal readers won't see it, but the AI will, and it has. So I've done the 5 articles in detail, and they're on my Substack, on both my Substacks, and I don't have to think about it anymore. And I can update it anytime I want, but people don't have to see it. So it's been very helpful. Yeah.
Interesting of the GEO, like the generative engine optimization, right? GPT and LLMs and stuff. It's crazy how much of the optimization for GEO is so similar to what SEO used to be. And this is really not super germane specifically to fiction, although, I mean, it's germane to fiction, but it's not exclusive to fiction. But this is branching into my day job category as a digital marketer. And it's just like AIs are starting to cannibalize search traffic. There's still a small minority. It should be stated that the overwhelming majority is still search, rather than GEO. But like search engines all cannibalize themselves, like Google, with paid advertisements first, and then by, making it all monetized content so that it stopped being useful. And so people got pissed off that it wasn't useful. So they started adding Reddit to all of their search engine searches. And then Google started favoring Reddit. And so then now the internet is entirely composed of Reddit, and that's where you learn everything, because like every other blog is now dead because of it. And then now we're just going to put it all into summaries that are at the top, which are all based off Reddit threads, and that's what GEO is. And so if you want to get indexed well, you do what the blogs did 10 years ago and have very clear, this is what I do, and this is what I'm about, and this is where you find me, and you make sure that stuff gets indexed so then you'll appear for relevant search terms. And sorry, this is not everything you're saying, Jamie, is spot on in terms of how to optimize for this from a marketing and discovery perspective. It's just wild to me how we've seen this before, and it won't be permanent because it will keep changing. And these AI companies have to make money somehow, because right now they're not making any money. And so advertisements will come in and it will get corrupted, and it won't be this easy forever. So
right, which is why
people like us can game the system.
Well, but here's the thing: is that are we really trying to game the system, or are we just trying to get into the system before they change the rules? Because once you're in the system and it if the AI knows who we are and they're feeding off each other, but you have those sources there, it's the people who don't get indexed, I think, are going to have the huge problems. So, because I don't know if they'll get shut out. I don't know if you'll have to go through a new kind of gatekeeper. I have no clue. But what I really loved was, for the very first time ever, when I went through the steps that Alicia gave me, and I bought her little, I don't know, remember what she called it, but it was $7, and she walks you through all the steps and exactly what to include, and also how to do the research, the questions to ask. And I went through that, and for the very first time, I mean, I've been putting seeds out there. I talk about this often. I just plant seeds. I don't worry about it, because there's also stuff, even with AI, there's going to be things that happen that they cannot track and they cannot control. And we've talked about that before. It's like, I buy a book. It doesn't matter I buy it on Amazon. It doesn't matter where I buy it, but I take it and I read it and I like it, and I put it on my shelf. And 2 years later, I'm with my kids or my family, my aunts, my uncles, and we're talking about books that we love. And I mentioned this book, it's Ian's book. And I go and I talk about it there, and I mention it, and my uncle's like, wow, that sounds awesome. Then he forget, there you go. Shameless plug. That was awesome. Second one. and the fun thing is that he forgets about it until he goes to work and they're talking about something similar and it sparks and he goes, oh, hey. And then he goes and buys the book at a bookstore. You can't track that. Real life stuff cannot all be tracked. And
No,
that's
that's wild, actually, Jamie. That just made me think that there was a really powerful moment for me. I don't want this to be too much of a non sequitur, but based on what you said, you know, I'm going through Ingram Spark. There's a whole I can walk through the process of that book and what went well and what went poorly and all of
right.
that. There's a lot of lessons learned there. But one of the things was I was doing the orders manually, so I was essentially filling them out to print and ship to the locations of those who ordered, and I was using Stripe for ease of payment and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And someone ordered and I went in to see, which because I didn't recognize the name or anything, and the majority of them, are people who I know on Substack. And I went in, couldn't find them there, put in their email, and found that they have a subscription, but they have no Substack profile, and so they were kind of that unicorn of like the pure reader who just receives these through email. And I think they were even from Europe. And it was one of those ones. It was an amazing confirmation of exactly what you're saying. Those seeds or those things that get broadcasted that you would have no idea that they're there. I would have no idea that that person existed. I would have no idea that that person knew anything about my work, and yet they did, and they ordered the book.
Well, I mean, you all realize that any of our Substacks, doesn't matter your number, chances are greater than not that at least 90% of your audience are lurkers.
Yep.
Easy. So what they're doing, how I have someone who has supported me before I ever came to Substack. I don't know how many years she's been giving me money. I even when we came over here and I learned that I could give a free subscription, I offered to give her a free subscription. She said, absolutely not. I was like, I understand you've been supporting me for years. Why won't you let me do that? She says, because I'm going to support you. As long as you're around, I'm going to support you. I'm one of your biggest fans, and so is my mom. I was like, what? Your mom? Yeah, my mom reads all your books too. When I buy your books, anything that you print, she says, I buy 2 copies, one for me and one for my mom. And yet she doesn't make any comments. She doesn't interact any other way. Once in a while, I go and I visit her on Discord. I say, how are you? She goes, great. And then she'll tell me what she liked, what she read recently. I'm like, I never hear from you. She's like, well, I got things to do. Okay. But she reads everything. So that's the majority of our audiences, and we need to be aware of that. So you might have more unicorns than you think, Ian. So yeah, that's why I like real life relationships. I had a phone call once, and it was the most bizarre. I think the most bizarre thing that I ever had was 3:00 in the morning. A reader actually found my cell number. How, I don't know. It kind of scared me. I got a text at 3:00 in the morning saying, "You rat bastard, I hate you." And I went, who is this? He says, I finally read the book and you killed my favorite character. And I went, oh crap. So I read this out loud to my wife. She bursts out laughing. She says, see, I told you wrote that well. Whatever. Second weirdest thing is I had a librarian call me up from Montana, I think. And she was just livid. I'm like, I'm sorry. Were the books damaged? I didn't even know you had, but I don't sell them. They were buying them from Amazon. She goes, what did you put in those books? I was like, I'm sorry, ma'am. I do not understand the question. They're fantasy books. They're for kids. She says, the books, the boys that come to our library, they fight. She says, I've had to pull boys away from each other. She says, and they keep stealing them. We have to keep buying more books. And I went, yay. And I went, oh, sorry. That's really a shame, But you never know, I had one of my wife's best friends. She says, oh my gosh, did you know the next city over? She says, did you know your books are in the library and they're up on the display for read these new, these best recommended books? I was like, I know what? She goes, yeah. She says, I went and I asked the librarian. She says the mayor recommended to have them put in the library. I used to work with the mayor.
Cool.
Yeah. So you never know how this is going to happen. You just don't. So what happens is you plant these seeds, always plant seeds, and don't worry about it. And eventually something comes to fruition. So when I did the steps that Alicia said with the AI, all of a sudden I had this gigantic feedback list of all the seeds that I had forgotten that were out there. And it not only had all the seeds, it had them in the correct order with the correct links. I actually, kid you not, I cried because I've never had that something clear. Yes, that's me. That is actually me. So I'm excited about this future. So I want everyone to get indexed. Not like I want AI to know everything about us, but I want it to know about our writing, about our books.
We should have an index party.
How would we do
We're all
that?
here.
All
I
right,
don't know.
instigator, are you going to host?
Yeah. No. Oh no.
Yeah, we should do that over there at the Sprint.
Well, maybe Eric could do it. He's SEO. He
That's
does all
right,
this.
Eric. Now that
Just-
now we know what your day job is, you got to guide us here. Okay, let's do that. Huh.
Just all get online, test it out.
Let's
post stuff for
let's
each
do
other.
this, and let's do it live, and I'll record it, and we'll have people come in and like, did you do this? Did you do? We should do that. Should we do that for the next Fiction Cartel?
Yes.
Here's one more free tip for that. When you're like investigating yourself, especially with an LLM, do it in an incognito private browser or a browser you don't use.
Yeah.
Because if you're logged in or you're using if ChatGPT knows it's you, it's gonna tell you what you want to hear. And it's going to tell you
the
all about
party
you.
would work great because
Yeah.
I've never Googled you, and I doubt you've Googled me. So we could do that.
That's a
Right.
great
Yeah,
idea.
Exactly, because Google, used to be like relatively consistent user to user, and then it got more and more personalized, and then, but like every single LLM answer is completely unique because it's all generated. And that's also why it can often be problematic. But they're all unique, which means you can't necessarily know that other people are going to see it the way you're seeing it. And so if you're indexed, there's a chance that it's there. And if they're asking about you, then they'll probably get stuff about you. But in terms of if you're testing it out, start fresh. Like wipe your browser, use a fresh browser, something like that. Start fresh.
Cool.
And see what you get.
Good advice.
So answer me one question, because I'm not afraid of looking stupid. I'm never the smartest person in the room. I know the names of a lot of these different AIs. I hear it all the time. I still haven't asked what it means. What is LLM? What does that mean?
Shoot, is it large language model or
Large
language
model.
learning
Large
model?
language model.
Large
Large.
language model.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is it just
So,
the way it functions or what? Is that
So,
do you want to take
Technology
me?
Brother.
yeah, okay, yeah, let me
Big
give it a
brother's
try.
watching
From
you.
a super high level. So, my understanding of it is that what it is, it's actually an algorithm that takes statistical correlations between words. And so it can thread those words together. It can use other words in your prompt as context. And so a word like capitalize is very likely to be followed by the word on, and very unlikely to be followed by the word lobster. So then it uses that to thread together in very complex algorithms.
You haven't seen my chats.
I have
Priceless, Scoot. That's why you're popular and everyone loves you.
and his timing's impeccable. Okay, so I want to share something because I haven't mentioned this. It was just in a private conversation with Alicia, and I have something called the Alicia Principle. So she had me do a chat while she was teaching me something, to walk me through this series of conversations with a chat. And I'm like, okay, we're doing this on a Go Brunch, and I'm like, I'm very uncomfortable. She's just follow this, type this, and I'm like, okay. So I'm typing these things in, and it's giving me feedback. And then it was arguing with me, and she says, okay, so now I need you to threaten it. I was like, wait, what? What? No. If they take over the world, I want to be known as the nice guy. No. She says, fine, then tell it this. So say, Alicia McCullough says this, and if you don't do it, I can't remember. It was some bizarre threat that made me laugh. So I typed it in. Oh my gosh, it was like that. And it was better results than before. I was like, wow. She goes, yeah. So if you threaten it, it does better. I was like, okay. So I've learned that if I need to threaten it, I need to say, Alicia said this. She goes, wait, what? I says, I'm not going to threaten it. You're the one that threatened it. So now I'm going to call this the Alicia principle. So if I have to threaten an AI, I say Alicia McCullough says this. Anyway. Yeah.
Guys, unfortunately, I've got a crying sick baby.
Oh.
So I got to jump now. Yeah,
Is your
this
baby
was great.
publishing a
Thank
book
you,
for
everyone. And please, in my absence, I don't know if Eric heard, but Eric, I gave everyone the pitch for the Sammy's Hot. So now I need everyone else to bully him into actually putting it between binding, please. So
we're just gonna have to pass around a stick for all this bullying.
And I think you mentioned that, like, when you have those people who like are waiting for that episode and comment on the episode, like it means the world. And like Leanne is one of those people for me, where she was.
Me too. Leanne reads all my
her
stuff.
as I was writing because I knew she was going to be like, she's going to be there ready to read,
and she comments.
Yeah,
I wait
awesome.
to hear. I wait to see that Leanne's commented. I'm like,
Leanne's the unicorn. That's what I just realized. She's the unicorn.
Keep talking till it comes up.
There it is.
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Now say everything again.
We thought you said yes, 100%.
Yeah, he said absolutely. I'll take charge.
It's nice to say that, but it's okay. I should do it on Twitch because what Yvette was saying is amazing. If Twitch streams it and puts it right out there, it's almost like doing a podcast. I think you're going to get a lot out of Spotify and those podcasts. It weights heavier of being noticed, I think.
What is Twitch?
That's a whole nother discussion. That's how I found World Anvil. I found it by a half-naked guy in his room who was making maps.
So you'll have
I
fun.
love making videos. They're so cool. It's like I make a little beginning to it, and I put music to it, and I put like little shit, like all sorts of stuff in there, and then all I'm doing is reading. I mean, like, how boring is that, right? So I put something in the front and something in the end, and it's like, and now I want to make little commercials in there, and I want to do all sorts of stuff.